What's going on, everybody? You are tuned in to the Hot List. I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty, and I come to you on Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We hang out and talk about real estate questions and topics. I answer a question of the day that is submitted by a listener of the podcast. If you're interested in or you have a question about real estate, you're not sure where to start, I would love to be the real estate resource you reach out to and think of first to get your question answered. All you have to do is shoot me your question on Facebook, or you can drop it in the comments on the podcast player of your choice that you're listening to this. I will not only answer that question for you, I will use it for future episodes just like this one, because if you have that question, the chance that somebody else has that same or similar question about real estate is absolutely high. What better way to give back and be able to help people out than by answering their questions and continuing to get everything going? So, today's question of the day: what is a whole home water filtration system? And, you know, this is something I never really gave much thought because I grew up around these. I worked at a Sears retail store for 10 years and I sold a lot of these. So this was something I was familiar with and I never really gave it a second thought. It wasn't until I started doing tours with buyers, showing them through their houses, that I began to get a lot of questions. And some people saw what it was, wasn't sure what it was, what it did, why it was there, and what its purpose was. So as I started answering this question for more and more buyers, I realized that fewer and fewer people were familiar with this, and this was something that they hadn't really seen. So I thought this was a great time to take a few minutes, answer this question, and include it in a great episode because, typically when you think about filters, you know, people see them on refrigerators that have a water system in it or a tap system like around your kitchen sink. And uh, whole home filters actually filter the entire house, not just the tap system or your refrigerator. And this got me thinking because your house is ultimately your home. And because it's your home, you absolutely want to take care of it the best you can and ensure that it takes care of you, your family. Plus, don't we all want better water? Now, choosing a whole home filtration system is not a small commitment. Depending on the location, water quality, and the source, it may make more sense than filters at a specific point, like your refrigerator that will you know, just filter your water and ice. So, to answer the question of the day, what is a whole home water filtration system? We are going to talk about three things to know when choosing a whole house filtration system. Number one, whole house filter versus a point use filter. Just like my current buyer client, many homeowners wonder if there are advantages to installing whole home filtration systems versus sticking with fridge filters or tap filters. And aren't the fridge and tap the only places where water quality really matters? Actually, it's not. For example, if you have hard water in your house or live in an area that has hard water, this can be tough on any appliance with water regularly run through it, like your dishwasher, your washing machine, even your toilet. Over time, what happens is sediment and mineral build up, and this is going to shorten the life expectancy of these appliances. And you're just going to have to replace it more often than you would otherwise. Installing a whole home system will remove the problematic materials and the particles from your water, which means this is going to reduce the chance of appliances having a shorter lifespan or needing costly repairs. Excuse me, hang on. Gotta get a little tea. All right, so next up is point filters. Point filters are filters that are on specific appliances, or inline filters uh, that are going to be on on your appliance, like your refrigerator or your tap system. And these might be sufficient if you don't like the taste of water, or like I said, placed in the inline filter on the most delicate equipment like a dishwasher, fridge, or even tap. Now, keep in mind with the point filter or spot filters, these are only going to protect the items that the filter is hooked up to. So it won't cover any other parts of your home, like your kitchen tap, your bathroom tap, toilets, washing machine, anything like that. And also, depending on where you live, will determine how often filters need to be replaced. So typically, these spot filters need to be replaced every 6 months. And if the water is a little bit harder in your house than it is other places, that may be closer to 3 months. And if you have a filter that is on your fridge, your dishwasher, your tap system, whatever else, the cost is going to add up over time depending on how many of those filters that you've got to replace and how often. Number two on the list is, I figured, good thing to talk about what can actually be filtered out with the whole house system. Now, the whole house filters can be installed, and they can remove many common contaminants that are present in water even after treatment, or if you're on well service. I would recommend having your water tested before making the commitment, because this gives you an idea of what is in the water, what needs to be filtered out, because different filters will filter out different materials. So, for example, what is filtered out and removed from a whole house system? You have items like sediment, chlorine and chloramine, hydrogen sulfide, some types of heavy metals, bacteria, viruses, pesticides, and herbicides. So all of that can be filtered out by and with a whole house system. Now, most filters are going to consist of sediment filters, carbon filters, and a UV lamp if you're on well water. Most systems are set up as a cartridge filter. This means that you have more control over what's filtered out. So let's say that you have your water tested and it shows issues with heavy metals, but the filter right now is only doing sediment, bacteria, and chlorine. So you would need additional equipment and an additional filter to filter out the heavy metals that are coming into the house. So that's why it's important to test your water before you make a commitment of buying and installing a whole house filter, because there might be items that are not being filtered out, and that's something you absolutely have to know ahead of time, so you know which filters need to be installed to help protect you, your family, and your house. And finally, number three, need to know choosing the right system for your home. So what is the quote unquote right system for you? Well, the answer to that for somebody like me might be different for somebody like you. So the simple answer is the right system is one that both meets needs for water usage and is able to filter out any contaminants that are in that water. And this, again, this is going to go back to having the water tested. Even if you already have an idea of what's in your water, just talking to people, or know how the water in your area is treated and filtered, still test it to see what's in there and if any additional equipment is needed. Also, another thing to keep in mind that you may not know, I just recently learned this as well. Uh, Both municipal water and well water, especially, are going to change over time. So there might be different contaminants in there, 6 months from now, 12 months from now, versus what's in there right now. So the best system to choose is one that allows for multiple interchangeable cartridges, plus choosing a company that will support your whole home filter long term. They're going to know what filters need. They're going to know, they're going to have those in stock. They're going to have a warranty. They're going to do maintenance on it. So all of that is going to come into play. So when it comes down to the three need to knows when choosing a whole house filtration system, again, the whole house filter versus the spot filters is going to be a matter of it's going to filter your entire house. So the water, not just at the spot of your fridge or your dishwasher, but it's going to do both of those, plus the water for the tap, the toilets, your washing machine. It's going to filter all of that out. And especially if you have hard water, this is definitely something to look into. It can likely reduce the chances of replacing the appliances sooner or costly repairs. Number two, what can be filtered out? Different filters have different levels of contaminants and what's removed, but you can remove items such as any type of sediments, chlorine, hydrogen sulfide, certain types of heavy metals, bacteria, and viruses. So make sure that you get it tested so you know what's in there so you can choose the right system. Which takes us right into number three, what system is right for you. Ultimately, you want to choose the one based on the tests that you have from the water. Whether you choose a company that comes out directly and tests it for you, you get a kit to test it. Once you have that tested, this is going to give you an idea of what needs to be filtered out. And again, keep in mind that municipal water, well water change over time. So you may need to test once, maybe twice a year, and then choose a company that's going to not only continue to help you with this, but support the filter, do maintenance on it long term. So that's it. Having said all of that, I would love to know in the comments, do you guys have a whole house filter? What type have you had? Have you noticed that it reduces some of the work that you have to do or repairs that after it's installed versus before you had it installed? I would absolutely love to know. Make sure that you drop it in the comments and take a picture of your system and let me see it as well. That is going to wrap it up for me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I'm your host, Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Y'all have a phenomenal day. I got to get out and shovel 6 to 7 inches of snow. So you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in here tomorrow. Take care.